So now we'll go through the various styles of defense that we're going to be using during the camps. In this case, we're discussing the 2-3-4 no hole, no shot defense. It's a zone defense. And these are the main teaching points. They're certainly not all the teaching points, but this is our starting point for the opening camp. I'll just quickly go through them. The number one priority of this 2-3-4 no hole, no shot defense is to prevent any passes to the hole, which means that as soon as the possession is lost, the entire team returns back to its defensive end. We don't get caught up chasing after somebody with the ball or putting pressure on somebody. There's no reason. There shouldn't be any reason to get into a kick-out situation on the return if we've moved well in transition and no one's been exploited. So we're heading back because our number one priority is to prevent any passes to the hole. The second priority is to neutralize the most dangerous outside shots, because we've already decided that there probably will be some shots taken. The question is, we don't, where are they from and who's taking them and under what situation are they going to be allowed to be taken. So all 6 blue players must return immediately to their defensive end upon losing the ball possession to ensure priority number 1 is achieved. No pressure is applied against the ball in the opponent's end of the field or during the counterattack for the purpose of this particular defense. And using the diagram for the explanation, blue players 3, 2, and 8, their job is to coordinate their movements to achieve the above 2 priorities. One thing that I really want to stress here, that this particular defense is not a shot block defense. Players are not to sit still with their hand up. It's an attack the shooter defense. The question is, or the decision to attack or to not attack, when to attack or when not to attack, is determined by these 4 points. Number 1, the distance of the shooter from the net. There's an invisible perimeter that we create against every team. That the distance of that invisible perimeter and the shape of that perimeter will vary depending on a number of factors. But that should be known. The distance of this invisible perimeter should be known and established. Partly due to the quality of the goalkeeper that we have, but also the quality of our defense, as well as the qualities that the attacking team presents in front of us. So first point, distance of the shooter from the net. The next is the location of the shooters. Position 2, 3, 4. In this case, players number 2, 4, and 6. If these are all right-handed players, I think we all understand that the least dangerous shot, all things considered, is from the player number 2. Whereas somebody in the 4 position, which in this case is player number 6 white, this represents a more dangerous location. The third is the body language of the player with the ball. Are they a threat or are they not a threat? A lot of the younger players especially are just, they go into automatic. They just chase for the sake of chasing. And they're not really looking at the body language of the player. So this is a really important point in terms of determining whether or not the player has to attack or not attack the player with the ball. And fourth is the power and accuracy of the shooter. It's one thing to determine that shots from the 4 position are more dangerous than from the 2 position, but however, if it's the top scorer in the league in the 2 position, the situation will change. So it's a question of who's in that position, not just what the location is. In this defense, the 2-meter guard's principal job is to push the center forward or the whole player out to the 3 or 4 meter distance, which means then that we force the attacking players in the 2, 3, and 4 positions to be further from the net. And all the movements of the 3 players, in this case 8 blue, 2 blue, and 3 blue, are not as consequential as they would be as if the center forward is right on the 2-meter line. Everything's been pushed further from the net. So in theory, we've reduced the danger by having the center forward pushed out to the 3 or 4-meter line. As well, because the 2-meter guard has a constant help patrolling the access of the ball to the center, the 2-meter guard should also be available as a blocker, working in collaboration with the goalie. If you look at the diagram, when the attacker 2 white has the ball, the 2-meter guard should be able to cover the long corner. Which hand they use depends on where they are in relation to the center. If the attacker white 4 has the ball, the 2-meter guard should clearly take one side or the other, so that the goalie knows what they have. Staying immediately behind the center forward in this case is very dangerous, because you've got this alignment. Look at the alignment. Attacker white 4, defender 2, center forward 5, 2-meter guard 5, and the goalie. This is a very dangerous situation. The 2-meter guard needs to be staggered so that the goalkeeper knows what side that they're going to get their help from. Blue defenders 7 and 4 control their opponent, of course. Whether or not they play in this zone sometimes depends on the philosophy of the coach. In this case, I'm showing that they're tight. And their main job is to make sure they secure any rebound in their immediate area. They do not leave early. So, for example, if 2 offensive player, 2 white shoots at the end of a possession, from that angle, if 7 left early, they could hand an easy goal to 2 white, who is delayed and picks up the rebound, goes in 1 on nobody. Conversely, if the ball's in 6 white and they shoot cross, 4 blue cannot leave early. They have to be there to pick up the rebound. Blue players 2, 3, and 4 must attempt whenever possible to secure a kick-out and or a temporary advantage against shots by 6, 4, or 2 white. So while we're in this zone, when we're attacking, because this is not a block, this is an attack. So we are putting ourselves in a position every time when we attack against the shot to bury the shooter, either for the purpose of getting them to grab and get a kick out, or to create a temporary advantage. I haven't spent time in this presentation on how to break the 2-3-4 no hole, no shot defense, although we have in the NDC over the past couple of years addressed this. The usual way that we've been dealing with it, it's not the only way, there's multiple ways of doing it, but we don't try to get the ball to the hole too quickly. We've been trying, we use a process we call make the goalie dance. In other words, we move the ball between the 3 players up top. In this case, that would be white players 2, 4, and 6. We move the ball back and forth, provoking the goalie for the first part of the possession. If there's an opportunity, we put the ball into the hole, naturally. But we try not to put the ball into the center too early, because it's during this 5 to 8 seconds of the first part of the attack, when we've moved down the pool, where the center forward is trying to generate a kick out by creating a disturbance in the hole during this zone. If that doesn't work, meanwhile, the players in the 2, 3, and 4 positions will be moving the ball so that we're trying to tire the goalie. And then from there, in the final seconds of our possession, we do one of 2 things. We'll take a shot from the outside, will drive to break the zone, or in the third case, if there's an opportunity to put the ball in the hole, will do so. Okay, so I haven't really put a great deal of emphasis on the offensive side of things here. If there's drives to break this 2-3-4 no hole no shot and set up 2 holes, I mean there's all kinds of options. I'm going to be reasonably flexible about that, but I would prefer that we get out of the habit of throwing away the ball in the with 18 or 16 or 14 seconds left on the shot clock. I find that happens far too often during club play when I'm watching the clubs. There's really no discipline. And this approach of making the goalie dance and using the clock statistically is a better approach.